Hey everyone, it's Libby from Maighstirtarot. Tarot. I'd like to acknowledge the Worimi First Nations people. It's WORIMI, and welcome to you, your guides, my guides in the universal energies. New static art display. This is I actually bought it from a boutique shop, a dress boutique, and it's a scarf of my mother's. So again, more artwork that's getting displayed as we rotate through. What do I want to have a look at? Well, first of all, I'm going to have a look at, I'm sure you guys have all heard about the blaze that's happening in Corio oil refinery near Geelong in Victoria of Australia. We have two oil refineries in our country. Now, granted, between them, they only produce about 10% of the refined 10% of the oil that is required by Australia into motor vehicle fuel and jet fuel, etc. But you take one of them out, it's a bit of a at this time, it's a bit of a yeah. So what I want to have a look at is that whether or not it was actually a deliberate sabotage, given the energies of the moment and the fact that Australia has pretty much told the US regime, no, you're in on this on yourself, or was it an accident like the Fire Rescue Victoria chief is claiming, but they haven't actually been able to investigate because they can't get onto the scene as of yet. So I just want to have a little bit of a look. So what we know so far is that the fire broke out at 11:05 p.m. on Wednesday night. There were reports of multiple explosions and flames. They believe it was a leak in an area called the MoGas section, where motor gasoline is produced, or motor fuel is produced. The fire was not under control, but has been contained to an area where the blaze has broken out. 50 firefighters, 10 fire trucks, and a boat. So it's on the water's edge. So a firefighting tug, I assume, has attended as well. But what they've come out, it's not being treated as suspicious. An investigation is underway. May very well just be a malfunction of a piece of pipework or a valve. Okay, so where do we go with this? Well, let's have a look to see. I'm just going to use the yes/no deck, and if it says no, then that'll be a pretty quick down reading. No, actually, I'll go a bit further if it says no. So was this an accident? Let me put it that way. Was this fire that's broken out in the Australian refinery, Corio near Geelong in Victoria, was this explosion and fire an accident? Was it an explosion and fire? Now I'm using my yes/no deck. There's 12 yes, 12 no's, and 2 blanks. Was it an accident? They haven't investigated, but they do. Investigators are saying they believe it was a malfunction. Was it a malfunction? I'm just going to say, was it a malfunction? Get your mind there, not and or, because then that confuses the guides. Was it actually a malfunction accident? Was it a malfunction accident? Was it a malfunction accident? And I'm getting a yes. Yes, it was a malfunction accident. Blank card, still the investigation. Yes again, and a blank card again. Yeah, okay, so I am going to say it was actually a malfunction. Now let me make sure I put those back in the right way. So it was a malfunction, but where do I go from here? Is it going to, so I'm just going to use the, let's have a look. Oh, my heart, absolutely. Turkey's 2 school shootings in 2 days. Oh gosh, just awful, awful, awful. So yes, it is a malfunction. But I'm going to use the Smith-Waite Tarot deck, and as I split the deck, and my question to myself is Is this going to prompt Australia towards more renewable energy? I've got the Judgment card, big, again, a huge wake-up call. Because there is a, with our far-right conservative ranters in Australia, um, they're on the drill baby drill platform, but what Australia the oil that Australia gets out of its territorial waters is that low quality stuff, and it's really hard to refine. It's just a pain in the proverbial, and it's cheaper, a lot cheaper to buy in refined oil from that comes from a high quality source. So this is what I understand. If I'm completely wrong, please bring the receipts if you're going to correct me. But this is what I understand, that it's a low quality oil, very much sort of like what Venezuela has. I don't know if it's the same sort of oil, but just that low quality, hard to refine. And it's just a lot easier to bring in from from high and cheaper to bring in from other countries that have high quality, except unless the strait is closed. It's a bit like Australia exports. It actually has the biggest coal export port in the world. And our coal that we export is incredibly high grade coal. So what happens is countries like China, etc., import our coal, even though they have their own, but their own source of coal is what they would call brown coal. It's dirty, it's hard to process, it doesn't burn particularly well, and China finds it cheaper to import the black coal that Australia can produce. So it's that sort of with the oil. But of course, we've got the far right, led by our own um, very vocal orange banshee or orange harpy from Queensland. Um, with the drill baby drill, we should be producing our own blah 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 blah. It's not quite so clear cut and simple as that, but Judgment card, and we've also got the Ten of Swords. So it is really hard to get the message out there about why Australia doesn't drill and process its own oil. Things are a bit chaotic at the moment, but it is signifying also an end of this burden. So my question is this going to prompt Australia to go into a more renewable direction? Now, Japan has just started producing electricity via a seawater osmosis process, where it transpires through a membrane from one side to another. Very low tech, very low cost, but not overly efficient either, but it does produce energy from pretty much nothing for a country like Japan. So let's have a look. What's this oil refinery? What's this? Is this going to prompt? What's this going to prompt? Just have a look. What's this going to prompt? So yeah, I am getting that. Yes, it was an accident. No, it wasn't a deliberate sabotage. But what's it going to prompt? I mean, I did ask prior to coming on whether it was deliberate sabotage, and I got a couple of no's. So I was quite pleased that the yes cards confirmed that. Otherwise, it would have been a very short video. But okay, let's have a look. Australia going forward with energy production. Australia going forward with energy production. Now, I'm just going to say electricity, not great for heavy machinery, but electricity can produce hydrogen gas, which is great for heavy machinery and trucks, etc. Okay, well, card on the bottom, we've got the Wheel of Fortune. Times are a-changing, and it is time to look at things differently, walking away from what no longer serves us because it's lunacy to stay. However, those that are on this bandwagon will be doubling down on this lunacy, but it is a difficult path. Now, this crayfish or lobster, whatever it is, it's coming out of the water. It's walking away from this emotion um, that is holding us back. So the emotion that's holding us back, it's emerging out of that water, but it does have a long, convoluted path to travel. And we do have the domestic versus the wolf. So the domestic's very much about the logical, the refined discussion, the decency, stable government, etc. Whereas the wolf is just howling at the moon, insanity. So US, you are not alone with your mangas. We have our own version down here who like to call themselves One Nation. I always chuckle at how they sort of choose a name that makes them appear united and for the people when in fact it's completely the opposite. So we've got this Queen of Swords strategy going forward, internal strategy, internal discussions, and then we have the Ten of Cups, which is about unity, ending of a cycle, but it is also unity. We've got Three of Swords, Five of Cups, and then the new beginning. So there is going to be this sense of loss and betrayal where there will be an element of Australian society with the Three Cups spilt. So in another deck that I have, there are Three Cups spilt in this. I think that's in the Gilded Tarot Royale. Three Cups, but you've got Three Cups on the top here. They're spilt, but we've got the Two Cups in behind that are still standing that we need to turn our attention to. So the truth is we're going to feel it's going to be rough for a while. Transition is transition. It's not stop this, start that. Transition is where both run side by side, complementing each other for a while. But I think what's happening with this oil refinery is it's going to force us faster than some are prepared to accept into this transition. But we're going to be on this new journey. And I love the sun here, solar power. I mean, the sunniest continent in the world, just about. And so why are we not really embracing the solar power? And we have swathes of marginal farming land and lots of rooftops that we could be obtaining this energy from. Okay, so I think, yes, we're on this new journey. Yeah, I think it is going to push Australia into the renewable path, entertainment only, quicker than what we already are. Some are going to find it really difficult, those that love their V8 Land Cruisers or whatever. Hey, you can still have it. Nobody's stopping you from having your V8 Land Cruiser. It's just when it comes to the everyday stuff, yeah, there's no reason why we shouldn't. Now, what's also happening I think it's in the Gobi Desert in China, what they're finding is by putting solar panels in the Gobi Desert, up off the ground, it's stopping or reducing the amount of transpiration and evaporation, and it's actually greening up, which means it becomes more viable land for farming and cropping, etc. Now, when I say cropping, it's not broadacre cropping. It's you're talking um, things like berries and fruit and sheep and all those sorts of bits and bobs. Okay, so is there anything else we need to know? Anything else? This might be a really short reading. Anything else we need to know about this shift forward? What do we need to know about this shift forward to more renewable? I mean, we've got the same problem with our government in Australia. I won't say it's progressive, but it's sort of moderate left. They really struggle to get their message across, probably because it's a convoluted message. But anything else we need to know? Come on down. I saw that 1444. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of work that was required. There's also the money that is required as well, but it's almost like invest now, save later type thing. I do have to chuckle at those that carry on about, oh, the renewable subsidies, blah, 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 but they seem to forget that the coal industries receive significant subsidies as well. So, from the taxpayer to make them viable. But yeah, a lot of work from many angles. So renewable energy is not just solar panels and wind turbines. It's also about storage. It's also about hydro, pumped hydro, thermal, hot rock, you name it. There are multiple sources that can be tapped into. So therefore, it's not a reliant on one particular method. And same with the storage. The storage can be multiple. You've got, again, the molten rock. You've got the pumped hydro. You've got the battery. I mean, batteries are not the be all and end all, but batteries can also be salt water as well as lithium, but they're also, um, uh, the heated water towers, etc. There are so many methods of storage that are available as well. So it's not a one solution, it's a multiple solution. Challenged by those that have a vested interest in keeping things how they are. The smug merchant with the cups lined up, who's made a lot of money out of how things are and want to keep it that way. That's the challenge, and it's the red-hatted ones. As I say, the orange banshee, the orange harpy from Queensland and her crowd. Um, but yeah, the challenge is these people that like it how it is and don't want change. There's always an element of people that hate change. Goodness me, the protests when the motor vehicle was first invented and introduced, absolute outrage. And electricity, when electricity was first created, and telephones, etc. There's always a crowd that is absolutely, oh my goodness, pearl clutching, cannot cope with change. That's who are going to be the challenge to this, and they're very vocal, but they are in the minority, attested by the amount of solar that goes onto dwellings in Australia, attested by the amount of electric vehicles that are being sold, etc. They're a very vocal minority. There are always an element that want to keep things as the status quo. Yeah, we've got this. It's a difficult path. It's an emotional path for many as we try and wend our way along this ups and downs path under the light of the moon between the domestic and the dog. But you've got here the two pillars of wisdom. It's the path we are meant to be on. Okay, in the past, we've got the King of Wands. This is some sort of action being taken, leadership taking action, very much so. I love our Chris Bowen. Oh, goodness me. And then you've got Angus Taylor, the opposition leader. Oh, he's so beige, Angus Taylor. But okay, let's see where it goes. This war of words is back and forth, fighting in a circle, the argy-bargy, those that don't want to change. Well, nobody's going to make you. Stay with your V8 diesel, whatever, blah, blah. I've probably got that all wrong because I don't know anything about motor vehicle combustion engines, but you know what I mean. This fighting of words, nobody's going to make you. If you don't want to, don't, but you'll get left behind. Okay, where are we going? Because there is no stopping this movement forward, the chariot. It is moving forward. When even the electricity companies in Australia who are there to make profit are now developing renewable energy creation and storage, they're for profit. So it's moving forward whether you like it or not. Get on the train or get left at the station, because the truth is we're moving forward externally. Australia is moving forward with the so we got the Chariot and the Six of Swords. Internally, yes, it will take money, Knight of Pentacles, but it will also require a stability of government as well. That's why we are able to do this, because we have pretty much a stable governance in Australia. Even our opposition, nutty as they are not crazy. They're crazy nutty, but they're not crazy nutty, if you get what I mean. We do have a stability of government, and that's brought about by pretty much compulsory voting, as well as educated population, uh, fairly extensively educated. It's stability of government internally. Hopes and fears, the Lover's card, contracts, agreements, unbalanced relationships here. Oh, why is I think this is just contracts and agreements with energy companies, those that can put it in. Okay, where are we going? The High Priestess, Page of Pentacles, and the walking away from what no longer serves. So, looking at the opportunities, this is new opportunities, and walking away from this High Priestess energy, those with the hidden agenda, very much like the tobacco industry of the 80s and 90s, very much like the sugar industry. They've got hidden agendas to keep us in the status quo. I think the people, especially the young people, are looking at the future and walking away. And looking at new opportunities, seeing what the rest of the world is doing with the Two of Wands. And we've got the Emperor, which can be about taking control. I think taking control and walking away from the disinformation and abuse, and shining a light in to find the new path going forward. Yeah, on the bottom we've got that Judgment card again, and there's that Queen of Swords again, and working together across the aisle, Knight of Cups, and the Ace of Wands, the bringing new plans, new beginnings, new ideas. So people are just walking away from any aggressive my way or the highway energy. This might be Pauline herself being with this orange background, or this could simply be the young people seeing the opportunities, walking away from this past and walking away from those that are claiming disinformation and falsehoods in regards to renewables. Because what I find, and then the Hermit finding a new path forward, because what I find on social media when there are certain articles that pop up about renewable options, and you get these nutters on there going, oh, pearl clutching, coal, oil, we need to stay, blah, 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 renewables, blah, blah, blah. And they're just repeating some headline that they've read somewhere of disinformation. I find when you actually present them with the facts, like one was carrying on about the subsidies to renewable energy, and I said, well, what about the coal subsidies? Crickets. So people are just going to start walking away from this disinformation as they hopefully get more educated. Okay, I'm going to leave that there. That was a bit of an interesting little Thursday exploration. I'm quite pleased about how that went. Okay, catch you shortly. Bye-bye.